I would like to introduce.
I just want to say thank you to those of you that click onto this video. My name is Michael Gibson, Biblical Poet. I just want to share God's love and His Word one poem at a time. This poem is a letter that I'm reading to my country from one of the fellow citizens of this country. To quote Dr. Martin Luther King, on some issues, it is necessary for the moral individual to take a stand that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must do it because it is right. I hope you enjoy. The flag. I choose the flag because it's the only thing that I could use to get your attention. I put my hands up and even screamed, I'm unarmed, but that didn't seem to help. I said stop killing me and that Black Lives Matter, but somehow that has been misconstrued into that no one else's lives are important. To delegitimize my movement, you can congruently start a blue lives, all lives, save the dolphins and free Willie movement. To cast disparagement on my sincerity about life, you challenge me to examine the crime in my own community, trying to take the spotlight off of the officers killing us. You blur my message by saying that I should be more concerned with black on black crime, despite the fact that you are murdering us in cold blood. But in the words of Shaggy, you keep saying, it wasn't me. Even with the mound of audio and video evidence, dashboard cameras, body cameras, and cell phone cameras, you keep getting set free. Is my death sentence just the color of my skin, or the one drop of blood that resides in my veins? The way you feel about that flag is how I feel about my dad. He is supposed to honor, protect, and serve his family. But that proves to be quite difficult when his remains are spewed all over the concrete, or his last breath is choked right out of him. I honor every person that serves this country. I mean, my father fought for this country, lost years of his life for this country. I knelt on that flag the same way that I kneeled down to pray. I was hoping that God would stand up for me and that this great nation of mine could recognize my pain and suffering. You would view history differently if your face was at the end of that gun, or your neck at the end of that noose, if that cross was burning in your yard, if you were the one sitting behind bars for a crime you didn't commit, if your forefathers died in the bottom of that ship, if this country was built off the sweat of your brow, but when you needed to get a drink to quench your thirst, you were told that this fountain isn't for your lips. If you could get a ride on that bus, but only from the back, if you stood up for yourself, there was a fire hose, a baton, or a firebomb for your church. I could serve my country and possibly even die for it. But this country never received me. Despite the stripes that were earned on the front of that uniform, it is as if I was more safe on the lands of foreign shores than on the grounds of the land that I fought for. For we wrote a constitution that excluded me and needed to be amended. You have developed these social programs to keep me in bondage. In order for people to qualify, they cannot be a cohesive unit, but an island with more and more dependents. To keep the funds flowing to my account, then the child's father must become more and more distant. The more dysfunctional I am, the greater the payout. But the more dysfunctional I am, the harder it is for me to find my way out. You would rather I stay on the system than to have any personal ambition, because then you would have to find another group of people to socially condition. To the victors goes the books. You have been able to rewrite the past, wiping and blotting out the names and faces of all your crooks. You have stolen our songs, our music, our dances, our manuscripts, our inventions, and our ingenuity, and replaced their faces with ones that don't look like mine in those history books, denying my people the greatness and prominence that my ancestors had, erasing their legacy off of the face of this planet, as if the cradle of our civilization did not start on the continent of Africa. What did I ever do to cause you to hate me so much? Yes, we have made progress because there are no more cotton fields or slave ships coming across the Atlantic. However, we have merely changed the means but still use the same tactics. Separate the weak from the strong, emasculate our men, identify us in pre-K, label us in elementary, fail us in middle school, and then as a graduation present, you allow us the privilege to spend our most productive years in a $70,000 a year prison cell. Man, that is what I call big business. I know for some of you, we can only be seen as a basket of deplorables or a menace to society, When I walk in your presence, I am the source that causes all of your high anxiety. If you could see that expression on your face, if you actually could see how shook you look, it doesn't matter if I'm carrying a gun or reading a book, if I committed a crime or graduated, if I am incarcerated or the CEO, if I am wearing a sweatsuit or a shirt and tie. While I am stopped by the law, all they see is the color of my skin, and that could cost me my life. Healing begins with acknowledgement, and forgiveness starts when we get over our abandonment. Progress is made when we collectively make a commitment to seek to understand before we are understood. However, don't expect for me just to sit back and smile like nothing ever happened. It's hard for me to see that you care when you act like there wasn't anything ever there, as if the extermination of my people is a figment of my imagination. I know that I need to mature because most of you have never owned a slave or ever ran a plantation. The spirit of Antichrist has been having us at odds since this country's inception. The truth is a pill that can be difficult to swallow. So if you need help getting it down, get a drink of water. There is only one thing that I know that can erase the sins of our past, and it's called an altar. I am no longer down on one knee, but two. These feeble knees of mine can no longer stand under the mound of this pressure. The flag that is under me is no longer dry, but wet from all the years of tears I've been crying. You see, I'm not asking for a hand out, but a hand up. I'm hoping that my fellow citizens will stand up, fight with us, and fight against injustice. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Thanks be to God. He is always causing me to triumph. Despite of how hard you may try, you will never get me to deny him. I'm able to stand here today and to speak the truth in love because of the unalienable rights that were granted to me by him. I hope you can pick up what I'm putting down. I'm not saying that this is how everything is, but I'm trying to help you to get a glimpse of the world through my lens. Every person that ever stood up for me, it seems as though assassination was their destiny. Lincoln, Kennedy, Malcolm, and Martin, Rice, Powell, and even Obama. If you didn't kill them naturally, then it was done politically. Any reasonable, intellectually thinking person should be able to comprehend why there was lost hope. Why, for some of us, it's difficult to cope. I stand strong on the Word of God. I had an excellent support system. I was raised with two parents. But what about the people that come from single parents? What about the child whose father is entangled in the system, or those fathers that are no longer here in existence? I'm not making excuses, just pointing out reality. This world is hard enough to navigate on its own, and it's even more difficult when your father is gone. I'm not trying to be part of the problem, but I want to become part of the solution. The great thing about mankind is the word evolution. We will get past our differences if we both willingly become active participants. So you may say, how do I have the audacity to kneel on the flag? I would ask that before you judge me, walk a mile in my shoes, and that the only thing I've ever been is American. When I look at the flag, I see greatness and agony. My father spent the last 3 years of his life battling a disease that he got while serving this country. I'm so proud of the work that the men and women do to protect this country because I know our freedom isn't free. However, part of the reason that there is a chair empty at my dining room table is because of this country. This issue has gone on for far too long. There can never be any change without dialogue. How I see it, we all need to come to the table and take a seat, not criticizing, but recognizing that this country's future is at stake. Every time the life of a man ends, you are wiping out a generation. To end this problem, there only could be one resolution: light. Until we expose how we really feel versus how people think we should feel, there can never be any healing. Until we accept the fact that we all come with baggage and prejudgments, there will never be any significant advancement. Until we embrace the fact that we both are wounded and are in need of our Father's love. However, there is one difference. You still have yours, and mine is now gone. Two wrongs will never make a right. The light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Don't curse the darkness, but light a candle and learn that my kneeling on the flag, God's love can handle. To all my God brothers, the whole world is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. A man who will stand for nothing will fall for anything. God brothers, man up. Biblical Poet, out.